Hello everyone, welcome back to Locke's Quest. Today we'll be taking on the cemetery. I cannot remember that. Anyway, Bluebit has followed us here yet again into the dangerous depths of war, and now we're going off to. And if you don't remember, we're going off to find Steel. But first, we have to head here in order to get to where we need to go. And there's a ghost behind. I guess we're about to have a Christmas episode, because that must be the ghost of Clockwork's past. It's not really a lot of drama here because... Oh, a ghost. Phantom Clockworks, Isaiah warned me about. Yeah, the Phantom Clockworks are actually a thing. They're not Ghost Clockwork, or the Ghost of Dead Clockworks, although that would have been an interesting plot element to actually have all of the Clockworks that you fought constantly turn to ghosts. But no, they're just clockworks that have the ability to go invisible, but they're not intangible. If you've ever heard of the show Danny Phantom, you'll remember that Danny Phantom can go invisible, but he could, while also going intangible. However, his invisibility did not instantly mean intangibility, which means things could still hit him. So in this section of the game, you're going to need to use a new type of trap, or helper turret, called the Revealer Turret, like you can see here. The Revealer Turret is the only type of... well, not turret, I keep saying turret. The Revealer Helper is the only type of wall that actually affects the phantoms and allows them to be visible to the player and the general populace, or the general AI. What I like to do a lot of the time is to set up a wall to make it so that way then my Revealer Turret can get... because the Revealer Turret has a great range to it. Set the Revealer Turret behind a bunch of turrets, and then the Revealer Turret will reveal it will reveal the Phantom Clockworks, and it will also allow for the turrets to attack them, because turrets can't attack something they can't see, which is why the Phantom Clockworks, I don't blame anyone who hates them as a enemy next to the Healer Clockworks, because the Phantom Clockworks are one of the only Clockworks, as well as Burrows, I guess, are one of the only Clockworks that actually can't be hit naturally. You have to have something in order to hit them well. Burrower Clockworks can still be hit by turrets, yes, but they'll be underground a lot of the time, making it a bit harder for turrets to usually hit them. This is usually the way I like to put up the turrets and my walls, because if you set up a barricade right here, then all you have to do is walk out here, and you won't have to worry about the Phantom Clockworks getting a bit too close to Bluebit or to your walls. A Phantom Clockwork will affect me a bit later on, and I will be actually stupid. Which is why a game called Orcs Must Die that I bought on Steam during the summer sale of last year. Speaking of which, this is recorded in 2012 for anyone who watches this in the future. But in that game, there were oh, fire truck outside. Anyway, in that game there was a guy that would tell you that they're reaching the rift, which was basically the thing you were defending throughout most of the levels. So he would always inform you, and I wish Locke's Quest had that audio bit. While the turrets can't see the Phantom Clockworks, you can, so always look out for them. Locke can hit the Phantom Clockworks no matter what, so you can always hit them even if you don't see them. For this section of the game, there are going to be Healer Clockworks and everything, and Burrowers everywhere. So I'd recommend just having a bunch of Burrower traps and the like, and have some long-range turrets helping you out, because they're going to be the ones that really get rid of the Clockworks. I set up an acid bomb turret behind there, and there are the Phantom Clockworks being revealed. But I set up a bomb trap back there, and when I did this, I think I was a bit tired, because I was trying to mass record Locke's Quest to get all the footage together so I could start editing it. And the acid bomb trap back there, it's useful, but it's not. It's only really going to be useful in case a clock just so happens to get behind my walls for some odd reason. This section also has a tendency to show another issue with Locke's Quest. And by the way, whenever I say there's an issue with Locke's Quest, like I said, I think in part 11, I'm never trying to say like the game's bad. Like, that's never my intention, because I love Locke's Quest as a game. But, this, like, you can't see Locke, for example. He has a shadow, yes, but you can't see, like, the walls. The walls don't have shadows. You can't see the walls through that. And only walls that have health bars you can really see the health of. But take that wall that's in between the rotogun turret, not the rotogun turret, the or even, yeah, the shrapnel turret and the firebomb turret. Neither of the, like, you can't really see the damage done to that wall except for a tiny bit, and so, you know, I can't really defend it if I can't really tell how much damage it has on it. Phantom Clockworks are also extremely strong. They're not weak Clockworks and they're just strong because they do a bunch of damage in a little bit of time. No, they are actually tough. They do a lot of damage with their one swipe attacks, and because they're unable to be seen, they're probably one of the stronger Clockworks in the entire game. There's a healer Clockwork being stupid, just healing itself and trying to hit my turrets, but for like 5 damage. That's the one good thing about the healer Clockworks, is that they do very, very little damage compared to the amount of health they give back. Like, they do healing very well, but they do very poor damage. They're like a medic in TF2 who's using his medigun until he pulls out his melee and gets the highest crit rate, and it's just stupid. Yeah. I kind of hate medic melee in TF2. You know what I always thought about Locke's Quest? I would have loved to have seen like a addition to it in the form of a like a Lego building type of thing. More of like a build your own turret. Like, if they ever made a sequel, I would really have loved to see a build your own turret type of thing where you can make your inside, your outside, and like the turrets have ammo or something, and after each day it refills on ammo, and so you can make like a like a turret that does a lot of damage, but it has low ammo, or a turret with a lot of ammo but it does low damage, or a quick firing rate or something like that. That would have been really interesting to have as a as like a gameplay element. Hey, and there's another Clockwork boss, the Phantom Clockwork boss. Fighting these bosses is a bit too early, don't you feel? So for this section, you don't have to worry about protecting Bluebit. All you have to really do is fight all the Phantom Clockworks, and they'll usually be hiding around with other Clockworks. This is where I really recommend taking out the blood-sucking or the vampire type attack. Not blood-sucking, but the energy sapping one. Because with that, see, there he is right there. Because the Phantom Clockwork, first off, the Phantom Ringleader is just like the Burrower Ringleader Clockwork. He likes to roam the map, and as such, the energy sapping or the health sapping ability allows you to see him a lot better and keep a trace on him, as well as sap health from him constantly to add back to Locke. Because like I said, Phantom Clockworks, they're not weak, they're tough. They actually do a bit of damage, and so it's just better to do a bit of damage, even though I don't think the vampire ability does that much compared to like other abilities in the game. I have to say, like, doing that allows you to at least get a lot of health back, a bit of health back constantly, so you're not dying as soon as the Clockwork attacks you. You always have a bit of health to get away. But this Clockwork, of course, does a lot more damage than the usual Clockworks that you'll see, just because of the fact that he's a boss Clockwork. Like, Charger Clockworks don't do as much damage as the leader Charger Clockwork. One strategy I actually really recommend is to first off not do this and get stuck in a triangle of death from these guys, unless you're gonna really use the health sapping ability that actually does give you a lot of health if you use it on multiple enemies instead of just one. That's one strategy for the health sapping ability, actually. But the one strategy is to actually allow the Phantom Ringleader to get in front of the Revealer turret, so you can see him easier and you don't have to follow him throughout the map. See? I didn't even have to come near him, he just pops up. I also recommend keep using the, I mean, you can, if you want to, use the goo trap to just start making him move slower and do less damage because he has to move so much, because his attacks are slower. But, I also recommend just using the lightning ability because that one just takes him down. And it takes down all Clockworks around to make him easier to fight if he gets around them. But that's the end of the Phantom Clockwork, guys. He's kind of dead. Phantom Ringleader is gone. Now we find out that there were actually other things here other than just a cemetery. A source well! Yay! Now Locke has extended this part of the campaign by adding a source well into it. But alas, this is actually one of my least favorite parts of the game because I feel I did terrible during this part. I re-recorded like three times. And also thanks to thanks to Zebra D Gamer, I think is what your name was, who said that I was doing very well. Thank you for the compliment. And thank you for everyone who's been giving me compliments on my gameplay. I really took the time to play through at least twice to make sure that I knew most of the best strategies that I can make up, so that way people could use my Let's Play as a good guide, because I usually show the last day of a part of the campaign, so that way people can see, alright, well that's the best way to put up your turrets and stuff. So thank you everyone who's been giving me praise, congrats on what I've been doing. And the Zebra Player Drone, that's what your name was. Thank you very much for the compliment, sir. I'm glad that you also played the game and enjoyed it, because it's a really good game. Underrated as hell. As you can see, Phantom Clockworks are also in this day, so not exactly worth the time to take them all down, but I usually do, just for the extra source. So that way during the next day I have more source to fight the hordes with. And as you can see, healer Clockworks, even though they're not looking at the clockwork they're healing, they will heal them constantly, so they don't have to be looking at it to know that it needs help. One thing I love about the Phantom Clockworks is that when they die, they don't just fall into little gears and stuff. They explode. They just blow up. I always thought that was a funny little quirk to their death animation. Just explode, this is too much. Boom. I always thought that was funny. I guess this one Night Clockwork wasn't exactly a favorite of the group, because the other Clockworks just walked by and just let them die. And that's day 50. Hey! Day 50! That means we're halfway through the game. There are only 100 days in the entire game. Well, technically halfway through the game, because now we're halfway through all the days, so... Well, I guess not technically then. We're halfway through the game, we'll leave it at that. I wonder what would have happened if Bluebit was a part of this to defend. This probably would have made it probably would have made this entire section a lot harder. And I don't know why they had to set this tutorial up before helper tutorials, because we already had to use a helper thing in order to help us. Ah, the repair helper though. The repair helper is probably the most underrated helper and the most useless helper. Yeah, it helps repair your turrets, but it also does it at the cost of your source. Of your source. It doesn't run off its own source supply or something. No, on your source. So, I skipped to day 53, and I got the new helper turret, the range helper. This helper increases the range of turrets. The helper turrets are extremely useful to your cause, and if you really extend the range of your turrets, some people might not see it as a useful turret because of, well, what do I need the extra range for? If you have more range, then your turrets can, for one thing, take out enemies farther away. And if they can take out enemies farther away, there's less likely chance of enemies getting close to your turrets, and that will allow you to do better as far as the game's concerned, because now your turrets won't. Not only will they do damage from farther away, if you get the damage upgraded turret, which upgrades all the damage of every turret that you have, you'll actually be able to do not more damage, and they'll shoot farther away, making your turrets a deadly force to be reckoned with. This section, I really don't have a great strategy for you. I just recommend huddling in and just trying to make sure that you don't spread yourself too thin. Don't do like I did here, where I have two repair turrets right there, just to and a revealer turret, because the acid bomb turret isn't really useful, and I didn't set up a ranged turret to help my firebomb turret to move, to, you know, fire off faster. And I know someone will be a bit pedantic and say, like, it's not called the firebomb turret, it's called like the firewell turret. Get it right. But all I can hear is nerd. And I just don't like that, dude. I just don't like that, dude. One thing about Locke's Quest is that you always gotta make sure Locke. Oh, and as you can see, the source will lost health because a burrower enemy got through and got to it. But Locke's Quest, I have to say, you have to make sure that every time you're playing that you always set up yourself to where you can get out of your bases. Because if you don't set yourself up right, even with the repair helper turrets, it doesn't really matter, because even with those, they don't heal it for as well as you probably would think. They don't heal them consistently in a fast motion. They only heal them like they're healing. Like, look, it's healing them for 8 here. Like, once I leave, you'll see that it's healing it. That it's still healing it when it gets hurt. But it's not as much as you really need for the amount of damage that your turrets are going to be taking. The helper turret, that helper turret is just not useful. And I use it a lot to show it off because I don't really care much for it, but it is somewhat helpful at points. But I'm just the type that I just run around and I just already heal my turrets by themselves. And once we get the 4th super ability from later on in the game, we won't even need that helper turret, because that helper turret is almost completely obsolete once you get that, considering how fast your special meter goes if you just start fighting the clockworks and repairing turrets. As you can see, though, the game's getting a bit more difficult, and as such, blow up. Anyway, as you can see, the game's getting more difficult, so we're gonna need a higher grade of you know, walls in order to get through. And whew, I'm so glad that after this section we get steel walls, because next section we're gonna need them. Well, we're not gonna get them till near the end of the next section, or the next section in general, but not after this. When I say next section, I mean like after that. But when we go to the steel armory or whatever. Fox Quest has some pretty awesome names for its levels as well. I can't remember most of them because I recorded this over 2 months ago by now. But also, this is being recorded at the same time as my computer's being broken at the moment. So I'm recording it on my aunt's laptop. So if it seems like a bit of like a lower audio quality or something like that, that's why. I'm sure it's not, because I'm using the same programs, but just to say. But yeah, computer situation sucks. Apparently we have to pay like $140 something to get it repaired from Acer, which is the brand of computer I have, which I don't know how they're going to do it, considering the computer's not it's not responding to the like keyboard, and it seems kind of defective in that way then. And as you can see, even if you have those underground like helper traps, burrower turrets, yes, they get underground and then they start shooting at your walls. No, burrower enemies can still get under there. They just deal with the damage. But that's it for this part of Locke's Quest, everyone, and we'll see you all next time when we go to get steel walls. Have a nice day.